Tonight, when the sun goes down, you are going to flip a switch. Light will flood the room and you won't think twice about it. You'll scroll, watch, talk, eat, and eventually decide when you feel like sleeping. The darkness outside your window will mean almost nothing to you. But for 99.9% of human history, that switch didn't exist. When the sun set, the world went dark. Not dim, not orange, completely, absolutely dark. And everything that happened after that moment was shaped by one simple fact. You could not see, but the things hunting you could. This is the story of what your ancestors actually did when the sun went down. And it is nothing like what you do now. The first thing you need to understand is that darkness was not neutral. It was an active threat. Leopards are crepuscular hunters, most active at dawn and dusk. Lions hunt deep into the night. Hyenas are almost entirely nocturnal. For a creature with no claws, no venom, no armor, and only moderate night vision, the hours after sunset were the most dangerous hours of every single day. Anthropologist David Sampson has spent years studying sleep in small-scale societies and our closest primate relatives. What he found rewrites almost everything we assumed about how humans are supposed to sleep. We did not sleep in one long 8-hour block. That pattern, it turns out, is a modern invention, a side effect of artificial light, alarm clocks, and the industrial workday. Ancient humans almost certainly slept in two distinct phases, with a quiet, wakeful period in the middle of the night. Historian Roger E. Kirch documented this pattern across hundreds of years of pre-industrial writing. People called it first sleep and second sleep. In the hours between them, they prayed, they talked, they made love, they interpreted their dreams. The night was not wasted, it was inhabited. But before any sleeping happened, the fire had to be built. Fire is the pivot point of everything. Researchers Richard Wrangham and his colleagues at Harvard have argued that the control of fire was not merely a tool. It was the single most transformative event in human evolution. Cooking made calories more available, which fueled the growth of larger brains. But fire did something else at night that is harder to measure and far more important to understand. It pushed the darkness back. Around that fire, something happened that happens almost nowhere else in the animal kingdom. People talked, not in the functional, transactional way that animals communicate. Warning calls, mating signals, territorial displays. They told stories. They named things that weren't present. They described events from the past and imagined events in the future. They invented characters, gave them motives, sent them on journeys, and drew lessons from what happened to them. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner spent decades living with the Xiyu/Huansi-San people of southern Africa, one of the world's oldest continuous cultures. She recorded conversations across different times of day and found something remarkable. During daylight hours, roughly 80% of talk was practical: food, tools, work, logistics. But after dark, around the fire, that ratio flipped almost completely. More than 80% of nighttime conversation was devoted to stories, narrative, characters, events that happened far away or long ago or never at all. The campfire, Wiesner concluded, was where the human imagination was born. Think about what that means. Every myth, every religion, every novel, every film, every song that has ever existed traces its origin back to a circle of people sitting in the dark, staring into a fire, telling each other what it means to be alive. The stories your ancestors told at night were not entertainment. They were the technology they used to build a shared understanding of the world. Who could be trusted? What the right thing to do was? What the tribe believed in? What happened to people who broke the rules? The fire was a classroom, a courthouse, a temple, and a theater, all at once, every single night. And then there was the cold. This is something modern people almost never factor in. You live in a temperature-controlled box. Your ancient ancestor did not. At night, especially in the open grasslands of Africa or the forests of Europe, temperatures dropped fast. Staying warm was not a comfort issue. It was a survival issue. And the solution was not a blanket, it was each other. Humans are among the most contact-seeking mammals on Earth after dark. Studies of contemporary hunter-gatherer groups consistently show that nighttime sleeping arrangements are dense and physical. People sleep pressed together, children tucked against adults, bodies overlapping, warmth shared. This is not poverty or necessity in the way we might judge it. It is the ancient design. The human nervous system was calibrated to feel safe only when another warm body is nearby. The anxiety of sleeping alone, the way an empty bed can feel wrong even when you are an adult in a safe home. That is not weakness. That is your body running its original program, confused by the absence of your tribe. Social sleep was also a security system. With multiple people sleeping together, any disturbance in the night would wake several at once. Samson's research suggests that different members of a group likely had slightly different chronotypes, some naturally sleeping earlier, some later, which meant that at almost any point in the night, at least one person in the group was in a lighter stage of sleep, closer to waking. The group was never fully unconscious at the same time. The tribe itself was the alarm system. Dreams were not dismissed. In virtually every ancient culture we have evidence of, dreams were treated as meaningful information. Not metaphors, not random neural noise. Real messages. From ancestors, from gods, from the future itself. The Iroquois built entire social rituals around dream sharing and dream fulfillment. Aboriginal Australians developed the concept of the dream time, a parallel reality that was more real than waking life, accessible only through sleep and vision. Ancient Egyptians built temples specifically for the practice of dream incubation, sleeping in a sacred space with the intention of receiving divine guidance through dreams. Your ancestor did not wake from a vivid dream and scroll their phone to shake it off. They woke, sat with the dream, and told it to someone else. The dream was data. It was discussed, interpreted, and acted on. And underneath all of this, the fire, the stories, the shared warmth, the dreams, ran a current of sound that we have almost entirely lost. Night in the ancient world was loud. Insects, frogs, owls, wind through trees, the distant sounds of animals moving in the dark. Your ancestors' ears were tuned to that soundscape the way yours are tuned to language. A sudden silence in the animal chorus was more alarming than any sound, because silence meant something had caused everything else to stop. The absence of the cricket was the warning. The stillness of the frogs meant something large was near. You still carry this. The sudden silence of a room can make the hair on your arms rise without you knowing why. A sound that stops abruptly feels wrong in a way you cannot easily explain. Your auditory system is still listening for predators in the dark, still reading the silence the way your ancestors read it every single night for 2 million years. There is one more thing your ancestors did at night that we have no modern equivalent for. They sat with uncertainty and made peace with it. There were no weather forecasts, no maps, no way to know what tomorrow held. When the fire burned low and the stories ended and the group settled into sleep, the darkness that surrounded them was genuinely unknown. Anything could happen before the sun returned. Disease, a predator, a rival group, a storm, death, and yet they slept. Not easily perhaps, not without fear, but they slept because they had done everything they could do. The fire was built, the group was together, the stories had been told, the children were warm. There was a kind of radical acceptance built into the ancient night that we have traded away for the illusion of control. We lie awake running simulations of tomorrow, trying to solve problems that haven't happened yet, bathed in the blue light of devices that tell our brains it is still noon. We have conquered the darkness with electricity and lost something we cannot easily name. Matthew Walker, the neuroscientist and author who has spent his career studying sleep, describes what happens to the brain during deep sleep in terms that would have made complete sense to your ancestor, even if the language wouldn't. The The brain is not resting during sleep. It is working. It is consolidating memories, clearing metabolic waste, regulating emotion, strengthening immune function, rehearsing skills. The brain at night is doing the maintenance that the brain during the day cannot do. Your ancestors two-phase sleep, their nightly stories, their shared warmth, their attention to dreams. All of it was, without knowing it, a perfectly calibrated system for keeping the human mind and body functional in a world that offered no margin for error. We broke that system, not all at once, slowly. First with candles, then with gas lamps, then with the electric bulb in 1879, then with the smartphone in 2007. Each invention pushed the night back a little further. Each one gave us more hours of wakefulness and fewer hours of the ancient dark. And with each one, we lost a little more of what the night used to be. A space for story, for closeness, for the quiet work of the dreaming mind. You still feel the pull of it sometimes, in the way a campfire makes you want to sit and talk longer than you planned. In the way a power outage, once the initial irritation passes, can feel strangely peaceful. In the way that lying in the dark beside someone you love feels like the safest place in the world, for reasons you could never fully explain. That feeling is not nostalgia. It is memory, ancient cellular 2 million-year-old memory stored not in your mind but in your body. The night still knows what it was for. Your nervous system still knows how the darkness is supposed to feel. Full of fire, full of voices, full of the warmth of people who will keep watch while you sleep. Tonight, when you flip that switch, you will flood the room with light. And somewhere beneath the brightness, a part of you will remember the fire.